The 401k Alternative Program is a retirement program that takes strategies that were originally developed for executives and business owners making over $350,000 per year and offers them to employees. Now, what makes this program unique is that unlike traditional 401k programs, it doesn't require the employer to contribute to the employee's retirement accounts. Now, they can if they want, but they don't have to. The program also doesn't have any minimum participation requirements. So if only one employee wants to enroll, no problem. And there's no employer administration involved either. No payroll deductions or billing reconciliation, because each employee's account is set up individually with contributions made electronically right out of their personal checking accounts. But here's how it works. Step 1 is we do a group seminar with your employees to explain how the program works and what their options are. Step 2 is your employees get to meet with one of our top advisors in a private consultation, something they normally would never be able to have access to. And they'll learn the truth when it comes to investment risk, how taxes work, and how investment fees work with full transparency. Again, this is something that they would normally never have access to. So let's start off talking about investment risk. And we'll show your employees how a standard retirement account works, where they get to fully participate in the upside and fully participate in the downside. Now, for example, this is the S&P 500, showing the year 2019 rolling back 20 years. Now, as you can see, here's the tech bubble of 2000, 2001, and 2002. And here's the mortgage crisis of 2008. Now, what's crazy is 8 years in, and you'd be right back to where you started. And 9 years in, you would have lost over a third of your money. But in our 401k Alternative Program, we have a unique crediting method that has a 1% protective floor. Now, what this means is, when the market crashes like it did during the tech bubble, you'd get a minimum return of 1%, so no losses. The same thing in 2008. Now, there's no free lunch, so what you give up is 6% on the upside. It's called a 6% shadow. So when the market's up 26% like it was in 2003, you'd get 6 points less, right? 26 minus 6 equals 20. So let's look at a graph overlay of the two strategies. The strategy with the 1% protective floor and the 6% shadow is way up. Now, this graph is just a conceptual visual to get you to understand the concept, but it doesn't take into consideration taxes, and it also doesn't take into consideration investment fees. So let's talk about taxes for a moment. Most people have been taught that it's better to contribute pre-tax dollars to a retirement account. So let's look at what would have happened over the last 40 years. Now, here we show an employee contributing $285 per month pre-tax into a retirement account. Now, this could be a 401k or an IRA, and the advantage is they'd get the money in there without paying taxes first, but when they pull the money out for retirement, they'd pay taxes on 100% of the money they withdraw. Now, in this example, we're using the 40-year historical market performance between the years 1980 and 2019. And in this example, this employee would be able to pull out a little over $17,000 per year in net retirement income. Now, this is the amount they'd be left with after they pay their taxes from the money withdrawn. And they'd be able to do that between the ages of 70 and 82. Now, if they paid their income taxes first, they'd be making after-tax contributions of only $200 because they would have already paid their income tax. Now, they would get this tax treatment in a Roth IRA, or they could do this in an indexed life insurance policy, which is what our 401k Alternative Program uses. Now, in this example, the employee would be able to pull out the same $17,000 per year in income, and that would all come out tax-free. But they'd be able to do that all the way until age 85 instead of only age 82, which would give them a total retirement income benefit of $276,000 versus only $215,000 in the traditional 401k. They'd also have over 75 grand left over in their indexed account at age 85, whereas with the traditional 401k, they'd have drawn it down to zero by age 82. I mean, geez, that's over 63% more benefit in our program. I mean, that's a lot. Now, the last part we'll talk about is investment fees. Now, as we see here in a traditional retirement plan, they're charging 2.7% in investment fees. Now, according to Forbes, the national average fees charged in mutual funds is 3.1%. Now, 3.17% to be exact. but we'll just use 2.7% for this example. Now, in the indexed life insurance example, we see that the fees in the beginning are super high because if the employee dies prematurely, their family gets over $137,000 in life insurance payouts. But look at how little the fees are once they get outside the initial 10-year window. They're a lot less than that 2.7%. But the real question is, what does this all mean? And how does it really affect you? Well, over this 40-year period, with an investment fee of 2.7%, you would have paid over $124,000 in investment fees, versus only $30,000 in charges in the indexed life insurance policy. That's a huge difference. But the other big thing to factor in is that for the $30,000 in charges, your family gets a $137,000 life insurance benefit, versus in the traditional 401k, the $124,000 in fees, which is literally 4 times more, just gets you so-called advice from your advisor, with no life insurance benefit for your family. You see, this is the kind of information you normally never see, because financial advisors are not required to share this information with you when it comes to investment fees. And how does it affect long-term performance? Well, here's a comparison of 3 different 40-year periods. The green line is our program, and the blue line is a traditional 401k. It isn't even close. So why is the discrepancy so huge? Well, 3 simple reasons. Less risk due to the 1% protective floor, better tax treatment, and lower fees. Now, maybe you're wondering who the insurance company is that we've been talking about. Well, it's Penn Mutual, which was established in 1847 and rated A+ by AM Best. They have over $25 billion in assets. So in summary, our 401k alternative program doesn't cost the business owner a dime, and it doesn't matter how many employees enroll either. Plus, you don't have to do any of the work. We'll administrate the entire thing for you. Basically, we do all the work and you get all the credit. So be the hero to your employees and offer them our 401k alternative program. You'll be glad you did. The 401k alternative program, brought to you by the Darin Sugiyama Companies.